6 habits keeping you poor. Let's go. Over the last 17 years, I've been very much interested in learning about finances. From books to courses, countless conversations, and now as a personal finance coach. And over the years, I've learned that every situation is different, but there are some things that are very common. The first habit that keeps people poor is going through life without a vision for their finances. You can easily go broke by accident, but you almost can never build wealth by accident. You need a target to aim at. Where do you want to be financially in 5 years, and how are you going to get there? When we were paying off our student loans, we had a vision for being debt-free in 2 years. We planned everything out, how we were going to get it done, and we actually did it in pretty much 2 years. There are people out there who simply don't bring home enough money to meet their needs. They're putting basic necessities on their credit cards, and they don't even have any vision for something better. They haven't even thought about quitting their jobs and getting something that pays more. There's no ambition, no plan or thought process to get out of the situation they're in, and they're just okay with the status quo. But it doesn't have to be this way. Now, of course, life never goes according to plan, but that doesn't mean you should just let life happen to you and not have a plan at all. So for us, by the time I'm 45, our vision is to retire or not have to work. I most likely will always have some kind of work, but I won't have to work. We want to continue living debt-free. We have a vision for the house we want. We have a vision for how many vacations we want to go on each year. We know how many date nights and family nights out we want to be able to take in any given month. And we also want to be able to help people. So we have a giving list that we're checking off, all the way to wanting to give away a free house. All of these goals have a timeline and a necessary amount of money associated with it. And we have a plan to make it happen. It's so important to have a vision for your money and your life. Now, the next money habit keeping people poor is simply not paying attention. So many people struggling with money don't know how much they spend on any given month. Surprisingly, they also don't know how much money they make. And not knowing those two things makes it impossible to be intentional with your money. So for example, if you need to go shopping for new clothes, you don't want to charge it on a credit card and just hope you can pay it off at the end of the month. You need to be sure that you have the money to pay for it without going into debt or missing other necessary payments. You need to know what your income is and what all of your expenses are in any given month so that you can know what to do with your money. And this is not something that needs to be difficult or time consuming. Once you're in the habit of things, 30 minutes to an hour each month is all that it takes. The next money habit keeping people poor is simply not having margin in their finances. Many times people will have expenses that they can just barely pay for. They get the most expensive house and the most expensive cars that they can possibly make payments on. There's no wiggle room or extra money for anything that may come up. This not only includes not having an emergency fund for big expenses, but it also includes not having extra money for unexpected day-to-day or monthly expenses that always seem to come up. I don't think I've ever had a month without any unexpected expenses. Whether your kid gets sick and you need a copay for the doctor's visit, or a kid's field trip comes up that you missed the email about and the payment's due today, or you're on your way to work and you realize that you left your lunch on the counter. Without having margin in your finances, these expenses typically just end up on a credit card. Everyone needs to allocate a certain amount of money every month for things that unexpectedly come up. It's so important to keeping you out of debt and having healthy finances. The next habit keeping people poor is not earning the right to have fun. A lot of people stay poor because they have lots of fun without first earning the right to do so. How are you going to go on a trip to Europe when you owe people money? How about you go out to a nice dinner after you pay off your first credit card, and then you can step it up a bit and go to a football game after you pay off your last credit card. Then you can go on a lavish vacation after you're completely out of debt and have the money saved for the trip. Even if you work very hard, you don't deserve a luxury car when you're charging groceries on your credit card. You will stay poor forever. What did you do to earn the right to splurge on yourself? I know life is tough and it's hard getting your money in order. And sometimes it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But just because you don't like your current situation doesn't mean you deserve something to make you feel better about it. Taking action will make you feel better. Helping people and getting paid for it will make you feel better. And having a plan and having a hope that you won't be in this situation forever will help you feel better. Not spending your way out of it. Spending your sorrows away is only a short-term fix, and it will leave you regretting your decisions when you end up in an even worse position than you were before, with more debt, more stress, more anxiety, and less hope. Another money habit keeping people poor is waiting too long to invest. A lot of people who are poor, especially in their later years, in retirement age, just waited too long to invest. Time flies. You think you have time to get your money in order and start investing, but then you blink and you're 40 years old. You blink twice and then you're retired. It comes so fast, and our days on earth are just a passing shadow. You don't have the time that you think you do. It's important to have a plan for retirement and understand the life you want to live and at what age. But the most important thing to do is to just get started as early as possible. The sooner you can start investing, the better, because time is what builds wealth. Let's take two scenarios. A 22-year-old making $38,000 a year, investing 15% a month, which is about $475 a month. By the time they reach retirement age at 60 years old, they would have almost $2.5 million. And that's if they never get a raise or invest any more than $475. So this is really a minimum that they should have. Now compare that to someone starting to invest at 32 years old, making $54,000 a year, investing 15%, or $675 a month. When they're 60 years old, they would have $1.25 million. So the 32-year-old invested more, but has over $1.2 million less when they retire. By the time the 32-year-old starts investing, the 22-year-old would have almost $100,000 saved. This means they'd be getting about $10,000 in interest alone, which is more than the 32-year-old is even saving every year. Even if the 22-year-old stops investing altogether after 32, the one who started investing at 32 will never catch up. And this is because of something called compound interest. The $100,000 saved by 22-year-old will get interest on the $100,000 plus the interest on the $10,000 of interest. Then the next year they would get interest on the $100,000 and on the interest on the interest. So the savings just keeps compounding. It's an amazing financial principle that is talked about quite often, but people still don't seem to understand it. But no matter what age, it's not too late to start. Starting at 32 is better than 42, which is better than 52. You have to get started ASAP. Finally, the next money habit keeping you poor is not investing in yourself. The one main difference between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow is the knowledge that you haven't learned and implemented. Successful people never stop learning. If you don't know how to handle your money, invest in a course or a book or programs about personal finance, or maybe even get a personal finance coach. If you want to start a business, invest in learning how to market, how to build a brand, and how to sell. There are so many things that you can learn that will help you advance in your money. Now, what I'm not saying is to use learning as an excuse not to take action, but you need to learn while you're taking action and make adjustments along the way. You will never find a better investment than investing in yourself. Now, one item that a lot of people think are a good investment is your house. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you can check out this video to see how you can get into your first home.